Earlier this spring, Will Stein called you one of the best players in college football. What does that mean to you when you hear that? Like, does that add extra pressure to you? What do you
Right.
kind of get when you hear that?
No, obviously it means a lot coming from Stein. But at the end of the day, they're kind of just words. You know what I mean? You got to kind of go out there and prove it. So, like I said, it means a lot coming from Stein. And like I said, it's a high expectation that I have to come out every day and try to work up to.
What's it like coming into the spring with the room looks completely different than it did last year, and you're suddenly the experienced veteran in the room?
Right. Yeah, it's definitely crazy. Like Pat and Ferg, those are my guys and stuff. So, definitely a lot of change, a lot of growth areas for me. Kind of just like getting outside my comfort zone in a lot of ways, helping the younger guys. But also there's like kind of a sense of freedom to go out there, play, make plays, and then elevate those young guys. Like I said, help them, teach them up, catch them up, and yeah, just hold the standard in the time room that those guys set for us.
Again, and you kind of mentioned you need to go out and prove it. What does that look like for you? Are there goals or aspirations or things you want to achieve this, whether it be in spring but also the year?
Right, just compete in every rep. It's really easy to just get complacent. So like I said, go out there and having the mindset that I need to be the best, one of the best players in college football, one of the best tight ends. Like I said, just going out there every day, and the coaches do a great job of being on me and holding me to a standard.
On the left, James.
Expand on that standard a little bit, Kenyon, because there hasn't been a tight end drafted here in 11 years, but Terrence is clearly going to change that in about 3 weeks. So,
Mhm.
what is that standard to you? What does that look like to you? And what did you get from him and Pat specifically over these last couple of years?
Yeah, like I said, the standard. We're talking standard. Those guys set the bar really high. I mean, for being like the best tight end in Oregon history, one of the best to do it. I mean, like about every record he has under the tight end category. So like I said, the standard's high. And going in there and living up to it and elevating the standard too. Doing things that no other tight ends are doing in the country. Like I said, the expectations there. I just got to go out there and live up to it.
On the right, Zach.
What do you think you've improved this offseason? What do you think you've added to your game? What do you still want to add to your game before the season starts?
Explosive, still blocking. I've put on weight. I'm explosive. So that's an area I continue to improve on and want to make emphasis. Being a smaller guy, I want to prove that I can block down on the line. And then just overall speed of gameplay for sure. So I'm a lot more explosive in and out of routes, just being fluid.
Second on the middle.
How hard has it been to be patient and wait for your chance these last 2 years?
Yeah, it's definitely challenging, especially with the portal being such a big thing in college football. But it definitely like has there's perks to it. Like I said, seeing behind guys like Pat and Ferg, the amount you learn from them, and competing with them on a day to day basis too. And just because they're in front of me doesn't mean I don't get to go out there and compete with them. So like I said, just being patient teaches you a lot of good things, and I'm really glad I did.
On the left, James.
You've had a fairly even split of inline and slot reps over your career so far, but there's a lot of inline reps to be had with both Terrence and Pat moving on. When you talk about improving at blocking, how much of that is not just to improve your own self, but knowing that there's going to be a lot of reps out there at the inline spot this upcoming season?
Right. I think the biggest part here is like me being willing to do that. Like I said, understanding that a lot of those reps are gone, but we do have guys like JJ and other guys in the tight room. They're also willing to do it. So all of us are capable of doing it. We're excited and we're each, like I said, willing to do it. Like I said, those are definitely there. So it's kind of just like a grit of wanting to go out there and do it.
On the right.
What are your thoughts on the other guys in the tight end room, and who's impressed you so far?
We're all doing really well. Everyone's improving in a lot of areas, especially the spring ball. Like I said, JJ, AJ Pelugano, Zach Grace, all of them, even Roger and rehab and stuff, they're all doing great things on their own. Like I said, the tight room, they're just standing every day. Manager and Coach Steve do a really good job of holding us to it.
On the right, Zach.
First, to follow up, you said that you put on weight this offseason. What are you up to now? And then just can you go into JJ a little bit more? What are you seeing from him so far this spring? Fans have not seen a ton of him out, obviously in an Oregon uniform. What is it about him that makes him special?
Right. Weight wise, yeah, I'm just right around like that little under 250 range, right around 250. And it feels really good. Like I said, going in from JJ's coming, had a great attitude. He's super fun to be around. Super, just a good overall human, which is good because the tight room is just a lot of good people in it. Like, but no, JJ's done a great job. He has like the ethic of going in, attacking everything. He's understanding the playbook well. He's doing really well.
On the left, Eric. I want to ask you about your history with hurdling players. When did you first start doing that? When you kind of like, what are you looking for on the field in terms of when it's appropriate to try and do something like that, and how gratifying was it to do it in such a big moment earlier this year?
Right. My first time, I started a little bit in high school. We're doing like a playoff game, kind of just like an instinct. I think, well, my freshman year against Stanford, I tried to hurdle somebody. It didn't go well. And that was kind of like intentional, I guess. I kind of had the mindset I was going to go jump over somebody, but it didn't really work well. So I guess it just more happens when you're in the moment, is when it works out.
You mentioned that Ferg had kind of raised the standard for tight ends at Oregon. Have you thought about what you want your legacy to be when you're getting out of here, and how you want people to think of your Oregon career?
Right. Like I said, like, legacy, like Ferg left his legacy, and I'm chasing it. Every day, like the things, the standard Ferg set, but also the records that Ferg left here. Like every day, I remind myself that those are the goals that I want to hit. He did a great job. Like I said, he competed every day, and he's like one of the best humans I've ever met. So just reaching that goal that he set, and like legacy at the end of the day, just want people to, see my name on those leaderboards and stuff, and just remember who I was.
When the tight ends in the conference this year were about as good a collection as it's been in a long, long time. And now there's going to be a lot of new faces and guys in bigger roles like yourself and Claire and Belling in particular. Like Eric talked about with the play after the Big Ten title game. What does it feel like to be not just the face of the tight end room here, but one of the faces in the conference after a play like that going into next season?
Yeah, there's definitely like an expectation that comes with it. I get the biggest part is just competing with those guys. It's hard. Like you can't visually see them every day, so just knowing that they're working and trying to outwork them every day.
I want to see what your thoughts are on the quarterbacks this year. Obviously, you've been around some really experienced guys. These are maybe less experienced, but really talented players. Just some early thoughts on that position.
No, they're all doing a great job. From Dante to Austin to all the way down to the new guys coming in, like Akili and stuff. No, they're all doing a great job and coming with like a certain like professionalism every day. And like I said, like drop off. No, like they're all really athletic and talented players, mentally as well. So no, it's really good to go out there and just catch ball with them and spring ball and stuff. Let it loose.
Yeah, no, I have something. Do you prefer to have linebackers or safeties guard you?
Uh,
Like when you see a guy there, is that something you're licking your lips at?
no, they're all like I like running routes against everyone. Like I said, it is kind of fun, like linebackers sometimes, just because they're kind of lateral, not really good at vertical carry. So no, they're both fun. I like getting a down safety matchup too, especially like going against Dylan. This spring ball has been really good for the both of us.
Saw you out at Pro Day getting some work in. What was that experience like, working with those guys one more time and also being able to kind of put something on for scouts for the NFL draft?
Yeah, it was a really good experience. It was a lot of fun. Getting to feel that environment for the first time was really, I was really fortunate. Throwing with the guys for the last time was a really good experience too. Tez, Trayshawn, Jordan, DG, Pat, all of them. It was really good. Like I said, last time just went out there and kind of had a good time.
You mentioned Dylan. What's it been like? We've heard a lot of things this spring from coaches and players that he's, one of a kind. What's it been like kind of watching him play, and what's it been like playing against him?
Right. First of all, like his ethic is like second to none. I'm getting in there every day. He's one of the first guys in. I get here and his car's already here and stuff. It's just me and him in the training room and stuff in the morning. But going on the field, no, very technical sound. He's going to be in the right position all the time. He plays a really good technique. So, it just challenges me to play with even better technique. Getting off his line, just even when it comes down to blocking, he's going to use his hands really well. But no, we've both gotten a lot better going against each other. Continuing to do that.